for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the theme song. Do it for Deuce and Mo.
We are live!
Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes
Happy
to the
Wednesday
Kings,
nights. Deuce, Mason, Morgan, Reagan. After another Kings loss, this suit jacket does not show up well on the screen, huh? Take it off. If you want to see my jack biceps anyway. How we doing on a Wednesday night?
What up, Deuce?
Hey.
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
Woo.
I'm rooting for you.
Another rough one for the old Sacramento Kings.
Let's go, Kane.
We're going to have some fun tonight, though. What? I am so sorry. What is happening with this?
Can I get a
Your face, your hair?
I was just about to say, can I get a rebound? Can I get a rubber band really quick?
Yeah, please. Dear God. What the? I look over and your hair's a mess. Anyway, Morgan's going to get a rubber band to corral that rat's nest on top of her head. Appreciate you guys being here, especially after a loss, right? These games suck, all right, for many reasons. Also, we're on so late. People are like, why are you on so much later after this blowout? So for those who don't know, who are out of town, we were in San Francisco at the NBC studios doing Kings pre and post game for this game. And then we had to drive. It's about 90 minutes back to Sacramento to get back to the studio to do this podcast because we go live, win or lose.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And we've been through tougher. Like, what's this? Yeah, so we definitely appreciate the fact that you guys are here to hang out with us. And we'll try to get through this together. It's like a little therapy session. That's where I feel like we're moving toward right now. It's like, all right, this is what it is. There's some stuff to talk about for sure tonight.
Yeah, there's some stuff to break it on down.
Ooh, also, tonight, I'm debuting a new game on Night Chat. At the end of the podcast tonight, a fun game that...
A new game?
It's new to the Night Chat audience. We
Got
actually did it last night. We had a members-only chat on patreon.com/Deuce and Mo. And I started to launch a new game. It's a kind of a ripoff of one of our favorite podcasts, the Athletic NBA podcast.
Love them.
On Fridays, with their guests sometimes, they play Guess the Nickname from Basketball Reference.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to come up with 3 NBA players. I'm going to rattle off their nicknames.
Okay.
One of them will be a fake one. You have to tell me which one is fake. And let's just say last night, it was a hit.
It was a hit.
Yeah.
It was a hit.
Also, can we give the love to people? These are the people who are here tonight are hardcore ones. Let me just tell you, you know what's bad for business?
Yeah.
For the old Deuce and Mo podcast business?
What's bad?
Kings blowout losses.
I know.
Not great.
Well, it's not great, but it's not great for anyone. It's not great for anyone's like business and or though like their mentalities.
But
it's like
here's
their
what I want.
spirit.
I want to create a hub, a space where win or lose people. You know what? I'm just gonna check in with Deuce and Mo, even though they lost, because they're gonna give me something. We're gonna have some fun. That's my goals.
I feel
long-term
bad.
Goals.
I told Deuce, like for now on, before games, win or lose, he can give me a song and I can try and write lyrics to it. Tonight, I didn't get to it. I started writing it, and it's just funny because Deuce picked. It would have been so good if I had done something good. But tell me if you know what song this is, and it's not good because I just wrote like the 3 lines.
Why don't you say it for another time?
It's
okay.
No, because you're not going to play this team again,
okay.
and that's why it made sense. Deuce was like, "Hey, why don't you? If the Kings lose tonight, Colt 45, or I'm sorry, not Colt 45, Afro Man, yeah, not Colt 45,
Afro Man,
and it was because I got high.
Yeah,
thank you." And so anyway, it's just so generic. It was, I was going to play defense in the mile high.
Ugh.
I was going to get up and play real tough in the mile high.
La, da, da.
No, not yet. We lost the game. I played like shit, and I know why.
Why, man?
Why? Because the mile high. Because mile high. Because mile high. Yeah. And so,
It's
like,
all right. And you know what? That was that. What you did?
was
Second quarter of this game. That was that.
That
was the second quarter.
This was the second quarter. This was the third quarter. This was the fourth quarter.
But Colt 45's a good one. Let me just say it.
No.
Colt 45, 2 zigzag. Baby, that's
Ew,
all we need.
stop. Please stop.
We can go to the park.
Okay,
after
this is like
dark.
what like an old person would do. They would act like they know how to like sing a song or something.
I know that whole song.
Okay. Oh, you're so ahead of the times.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
okay,
Cool.
35-year-old.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Geeky Nana in the house. Ryan, Blue Velvet, Sack Up, Garrett, Joe. How about Scuba, who says, we know the script. Kings at home against the Warriors playing.
Shit, no.
At this point, I hope that's the case. Just don't fall out of that. We got a lot to go over tonight, so let's have fun.
Oh, God.
Deuce and Mo, we're coming down. In 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this late on a Wednesday night. The Kings trying to bounce back against a team they have beaten 3 times this year, the Denver Nuggets. They would have to do it without De'Aaron Fox, and we got off to a great start. They had the lead after the first quarter, led by 15 with 8 minutes to go, and about 4 minutes and 3 seconds later, the game was tied. The Nuggets go on a 28-4 run, and they don't look back. The Kings fold down the stretch and lose to the Nuggets 117-96, and the Kings are now 33-25 on the season in 8th place in the West. Each and every one of our podcasts presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors. Check out trustnorthwest.com. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
Fine. I'm fine. I'm just,
I can't wait until some future pods when I go, how you doing? I'm great. I'm good. The last couple I've gone fine, and fine in my world is not good.
so fine in my world. It's like, yeah,
That's bad.
it's so
That's
no,
bad.
no.
To me, it's either you're great or you're awful.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the world isn't just black or white. There's gray area, and being fine is, I mean, I'm fine. It just, sometimes for some of these games, I think about, I don't know why this ever bothers me, but whenever we do a pre and post game at the NBC studios for an away game, it's in San Francisco. So like you're out there, like you were leaving at 11 a.m. and you're back, 10, 11 p.m. And sometimes I feel like, oh, what a waste, a loss like that. What a waste. It's never a waste. Not only did you work, you had fun,
Yeah.
and you did something you loved, but it's still, there's something that just doesn't complete me right after a Kings loss away, where I make the extra effort to do everything I can to be great, but you can't make the extra effort to do everything that you can to be great. Bullshit.
Well, we knew this game was going to be tough. Something I kept repeating today multiple times to you, last podcast, on the pregame tonight was,
Oh my God.
there were a lot of people telling me the Kings are going for the sweep. They beat the Nuggets 3 times. Do they have an edge over Denver? Would that be a good playoff matchup? And I was perplexed. I was stunned. I was flabbergasted because in my mind, the Sacramento Kings had not played the Denver Nuggets this year. They played some version. Tonight, they played the Denver Nuggets. This was the first time this season that the Kings played the Nuggets at full strength. We saw matchups this year, a couple of games without Jamal Murray, a couple of games without KCP, a game without Michael Porter. And I think what people forget is this Denver Nuggets team is really talented, especially with the starting five. Their starting five is the best, most highly rated offensive starting five in the NBA.
Okay.
They click, they've got the chemistry.
Yeah.
So it was going to be a challenge, and you knew the Nuggets were like, dude, this Sacramento team, yeah, they beat us. We're going to show them what's about tonight. I was concerned about this game with De'Aaron Fox. Once we found out moments before the game that De'Aaron was not going, Davion Mitchell was getting the start, De'Aaron missing the game with a knee contusion, I was pretty concerned about this game. And I think some people were, in a way, because of Sacramento's success this year against Denver, maybe overlooking them in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they were. Oh, I don't know, mate. I didn't get a feel the pulse of how a lot of fans felt, or like just, I mean, all of us felt going into this. I just know how I felt going into this one, and I felt scared going into every single game against the Denver Nuggets this year, with or without players. And then at full strength, there was this weird thing in the back of my mind being like, of course, this will be the game that the Kings like play really well. You know, it's just like, without De'Aaron Fox and the Denver Nuggets are at full strength, this will be the game that they play really well. Well, no, it went how, you know, a lot of people around the basketball world would take a look at this game and go, this is how it should go. This is how it should have gone. And these are the defending champs. And on top of all of that, how their starting unit plays together is really good, right? But it's how they come back together. It's how they recover together. It's that experience, that championship experience that they have to not only get into a 15-point hole, find a way out of it, get better, and never look back. That's exactly what it is. And I mean, look, for the Kings, I'm just more disappointed that they didn't play better throughout the game. If you're going to get in that hole, find a way to crawl back out of it, even if it's a 10-point game, whatever, something. It never felt like they were going to get out of this hole once the Nuggets put them down.
It's not about them losing the game. It's about how they lost.
Correct.
You lose a game without De'Aaron Fox. Okay, that's tough, but you battle. The way they came out tonight in the first quarter was fantastic. I noted on my stupid sheet I take notes on with all lineups and plays that jump out to me, I wrote down one of the most balanced quarters of the season. The Kings were up after one, 35-28.
But it was pretty.
The 35, great. They were scoring, but why were they scoring? Their defense was fantastic. Like the rotations. There was a couple of times guys got beat. I remember Davion got beat once by Murray. He recovered, got a steal. There's another time Duarte got beat on a swim move by Reggie Jackson, and Herter came over and helped, and then Duarte recovered and got a block out of bounds. They were contesting shots.
Yes.
They were locked in, and because they were getting some stops, they were getting out and pushing a little bit. They were getting some paint touches, getting some quality looks from three. I'm like, dude, if they keep playing like this, it's going to be a game. Like, I knew Denver was going to end up playing better. They still had the edge, but I'm like, we may have something really good to talk about tonight because of how they responded after that Miami game, how they came out looking engaged. I love the first quarter.
And even if they could have played like how they were playing in that first quarter, just a little bit more like that throughout this game, we would be sitting here tonight talking about like, wow, what a great effort without De'Aaron Fox, all these different things. But they came out, set the tone, and then they lost the tone. And you just said it, Deuce. You said the way that they were playing defense led to some really good offense. And what has this team done well? Well, when they pushed the pace, good things happen. Those paint touches, all those things. Once it started being like, hey, we are in a half-court set and we don't know what the hell we're doing, it ended up being the first shot, not the best shot. Now, I know we'll get to this, but Mike Brown even said after the game, basically saying, like, I want my guys to shoot that shot. I totally disagree with that, because then there's other times where he's like, I want my guys to make sure that they're getting the best three-pointer, not just the first open three-pointer, especially when you have someone like Michael Porter Jr., trailing you, coming under a screen, and it's the first look you have. You could have still swung the ball around 5 more times, got it back to you in that position, and even got a prettier shot off. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, going to that first quarter when the Kings led 35-28, Jokic left the game in the first quarter with the Kings up 4 at 32-28. Every time you play the Nuggets, you circle the non-Jokic minutes because this team, this Nuggets team, for as talented as they are, I view them at this point. I think they're the favorites still in the West. Maybe I'm being a prisoner because of them winning the championship last year, but I like how cohesive that 5 is. Their bench, kind of sus. Like, I think we can all admit that it's not the same bench as last year. So, Kings are up 4 with Jokic going to the bench. Awesome. Let's see how they respond out of it. They got up 13 by the time he got back in the game. It was him coming back into the game. I'm looking. 8:32 mark. He comes back in the game. The Kings are up 45-32. They scored on the next possession with him in the game. This is when they reach the peak. They're up 15 at 47-32. Not only are they being competitive at this point, they are up 15 points. And you're thinking, man, could they keep putting pressure on? Maybe this is going to be a weird moment for the Nuggets. No, the Nuggets got back in the game. But, God, when it went bad, it went awful. And what you just said is exactly right. In the second quarter,
What did I say?
look, Denver's defense, they can get it going, and they have defenders. But Sacramento settled so much offensively.
Thank you.
Too many quick shots early in the shot
you.
clock. And like you said, Mike was, I like some of these open looks, or, we missed some good looks. They were 0 for 9 from 3 in that second quarter.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look, but I would venture ballpark. I'm going to say 6 of them were not quality looks.
There you go. That's literally where my brain would go. In those 6 possessions, this is where we keep going back to, and you and I talked about this all the way back from San Francisco. We were talking about how every possession is so very important when you're playing some of the best teams in this league.
Yep.
And they know that. They know that. And that's why they took every possession so seriously in the beginning of the game, in the engagement and setting the tone. It was just absolutely gorgeous, magical artwork kind of basketball.
So what did the missed threes lead to? Long rebounds, and Denver said, we're pushing, we're getting out because this is where we can have some momentum go our way. I looked at halftime, I'm like, whoa. The Nuggets have 20 fast break points, and I went, they only had 5 in the first quarter. The Nuggets had 15 fast break points in the second quarter. It wasn't all of Kings turnovers. The Kings had 3 turnovers in the second quarter. But I'll tell you this, those missed threes, those ill-advised shot attempts that they got, they felt like turnovers, right? Because they're getting the ball and they're pushing, and then you're just in a very bad spot. Here's my problem with tonight, though, and this has been a theme a lot this year. When teams go on runs against Sacramento, it's an avalanche. It can't be stopped. And at some point, I'm looking around going, this is on players, coaches. We got to figure this out. You can't be allowing teams to go on 28-4 runs.
Yeah.
28-4? And this is not the first time this has happened this year. This has happened multiple times. If that run is 18-10, you can stomach it. 28-4, it's hard to recover from that. The team gets confidence. You buried yourself. A 15-point lead.
Yeah.
At one point, at the 8-minute mark, turns into a 10-point deficit at the half.
I know how you like my analogies that sometimes barely make sense. Sometimes they make a little bit of sense. Sometimes people connect. And when I look at, you said, this is on someone has to figure it out when this avalanche happens, when they just start going downhill. Like, everyone has responsibility. And I look at it, analogy, as like a parent when a kid starts spiraling. Like, not only, let's just say it's even a young adult and they start spiraling, their brain is still developing, but like they're young adult. And sometimes it's on the parent to still be that parent for them, even if it's like, wait, aren't you adult? You should be figuring it out. I mean, you're still their parent in their life. And then on the adult, it's their personal responsibility to take accountability, to try and better themselves in those moments, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's something, right? So you think about a coach being the parent and you think about the player being the young adult, and it's on all of them to make tweaks and figure out what works for them when the spiraling happens. You can't just keep letting it happen and then go, we'll figure it out next time, because these are the things that truly some of the best teams with all these experiences from all the spiraling know how to deal with. And maybe it's just going to take more and more experience too
Sure.
of
But
spiraling.
this isn't a parent with 12-year-olds either. You know, this is a team that has experience, enough experience on it where, like, during a timeout, we got to stop the bleeding. Let's be patient. Let's run our stuff, and let's see what we can get out of it. And I felt like it just went on too long, and then you're looking around going, at least at halftime for me, I know it was they were down 10, but it's like, are they going to figure this out? It felt like the game was lost in the second quarter when they were outscored 37-20. And so, look, part of it too is in these moments, you can maybe rely on Fox to go get you a bucket. Tonight, it didn't feel that way. You know, then they started having some turnover issues, the third quarter turnover issues. They had 5 turnovers in the third quarter, leading to 12 points. One of the most staggering stats tonight was Denver had more turnovers than the Kings, okay?
Yes.
Denver had 16 turnovers, turning into 13 points for the Kings. Sacramento had 14 turnovers that turned into 28 Denver Nuggets points, plus 15 on points off turnovers, and you had 2 fewer turnovers.
And I know, too, you look at their shooting numbers and you go, wow, they're shooting 53% from the field and they're shooting 43% from three-point land. I get it. They were making their shots, but they were also making their shots because, I mean, when you look at all the field goals, you go, okay, that was them pushing in transition. That was them getting to the paint easily, no resistance. And then on some of those threes, you did have someone like Jamal Murray just starting to go off. And of course that's going to happen, but how do you slow down the rest of the squad? And it just felt like there's so many mismatches, so many miscommunications after that first quarter where it was like Aaron Gordon's all of a sudden on Kevin Huerter, just like posting it up, going down on him.
Oh,
And
they were targeting mismatches at that point.
They were Davion Mitchell. They were targeting. It wasn't just Kevin Huerter. I mean, they were just targeting every single mismatch that they could seek out.
That was in the say. Yeah, once they took the lead, Gordon just scores on mismatches. It's 53-51. You're just going, this can't happen this easily. And
it's too easy.
And, you know, you give a team like the Nuggets confidence after a slow start, they're going to figure it out. I watched them the other night against the Golden State Warriors, the other day against the Warriors, where the Warriors got off to a really nice start too. Once Denver figured it out, it was like ball game. They just cruised, and now Denver's won 4 in a row. They've won 9 of 10 at home. It was going to be a tough game no matter what, but it seems like, hey, breaking news, Denver Nuggets fans were freaking out a little bit because of where their seating was at this point.
Yeah.
Look, this team, when healthy, is going to be pretty damn good. And Sacramento, I felt like let them off the hook with how they played. I thought Sacramento's mistakes got Denver back in the game, and then Denver took it and ran with it after that. Like, just went, oh, thank you, now we're back in, when Sacramento had them in a really good spot to make them compete tonight. That's what's disappointing. You were outscored 37-20 in the second quarter. In the third quarter, I felt like they did get better shots. Then they started missing shots, and then it was that, you know, they got outscored 35-17 in the third.
And by the way, I don't even look at the first 3 games of this season and go like, man, I really just expected more from that. I expected more from the growth we have seen from this team with how I thought experience would help the way that they would respond. And you see them respond after some of these losses, and you're like, hell yeah, they understood. I think it was, again, wasn't it after the Pistons game at home, that loss, that then they played the Denver Nuggets, a shorthanded Denver Nuggets, and they responded, though, with really special basketball.
Well,
it wasn't just because they were shorthanded.
Their previous 3 matchups against the Nuggets were 3 of their best defensive performances of the season based on defensive rating. If you look at the defensive rating for those individual games, 2 of them would rank number 1 in the season in the NBA, and the third one would rank 3rd. So they played some of their best defensive basketball. Obviously, it changes things when the Nuggets have more weapons for sure, but that's where it's just disappointing tonight. It's like you knew it was going to be tough without De'Aaron Fox, but you're better than this. You are better than rolling over in the situation. And one stat I want to throw at you, Morgan.
Yeah.
The Kings scored 96 points tonight. They've been held under 100 points 6 times this year. Last season, held under 100 4 times the entire season.
Damn.
In a time, by the way, where the league is, the scoring is outrageous.
For sure.
ESPN's writing articles about, hey, what's the league supposed to do? Should they make the basket smaller? Is that what they said? Something like that?
No, they did not.
Should they take air out of the ball so it'd be harder for teams to score? Stuff, I don't know. There's just all these different crazy, hey, should we have like the basket kind of move? Just wild things to come up with. This is a game where, like, actually right now, the basket's the size of a hula hoop. You should be able to score, right?
Damn, Deuce.
I'm trying too hard now.
You are. But I kind of appreciate that. Was better than you trying to sing.
Why am I so energized tonight? I feel like I'm in my bag a little bit tonight.
I don't know.
I think it's because I was so locked into the game. I felt good about the TV broadcast tonight. I felt like
I had fun. You know what's funny? Like for everything that went down, I had fun being able to watch the game, being locked in with you, being able to sometimes it doesn't matter if it's a win or loss, and we just vibe talking basketball. And I felt like that's what we were doing in the postgame show. Like we were just breaking down a lot of different things that made sense to us as to what led to this Kings loss, and not just getting angry about it. And I also think too, like something that you brought up on the post-game show that I really want to get to, if I may, and it's Keegan Murray. And before we get to his good, I really want to get to what you had talked about with what was expected from him at times tonight and where the offense went. Because this kind of goes off of everything that we were talking about with this game as a whole. And one of the things that stood out to us, you had mentioned this, you said that Keegan Murray, he was starting to go into ISO ball.
I'll go ahead. It was one play, but it just illustrated kind of where the Kings were at. Second quarter, Denver's making a slight push. The Kings go back with their starting lineup. It was 47-38 when the starters came back into the game at the 6:35 mark. So it's a 3-point game. Denver's back in the game. You're like, okay, let's see how this looks with the full starters back in. I know this play, 5:36. Keegan goes ISO with Porter on him, and he kind of makes a move, but it's clear he might need a little help. He doesn't look totally comfortable, and as he's taken a lot of progress, and I saw some great things from him tonight with some of his takes to the basket, some of the creation. But in this situation, he didn't look at it. And everyone else was standing around. Sabonis had the ball, or Sabonis was away from the ball, kind of looking at him. I'm like, is the screen coming? Is the screen coming? Keegan made a mistake and tried to force a pass to Sabonis because he was a little unsure of himself. And it was an awful pass turnover the other way. And I'm going, are you missing De'Aaron this bad that you guys can't even function and run an offense out there? And I thought the point you made, too, was interesting. It's like they were treating Keegan in that moment like he was De'Aaron, go get me a bucket. It's like, he's not that yet.
No,
run something for him.
It's not only that. It's like they expected him to be in that role, in that moment, at least it felt like. And it's like when De'Aaron has the ball and goes ISO and can get to the rack, get in the paint, whatever, you sometimes don't even need to relocate because you know he's going to get his. And even Domas at times is like, I know I'm looking for a rebound. I'm not looking for a lob. I'm not looking for this pocket pass necessarily. I'm looking to rebound if he's going to miss that shot. With Keegan, I love when he's putting the ball on the floor, trying to make something happen. I am so down for him to continue to grow his ISO game. Absolutely. But when Keegan Murray goes into that ISO game, there needs to be some guys relocating. There needs to be movement. Maybe there's even a screen on his guy. Maybe it's more of a DHO.
It's not Kevin Durant yet.
That's my point. It's just like you got to make sure to understand your personnel. And I felt like in that moment, it was like everyone just was kind of watching what was going to happen next because they're so used to having this hero in De'Aaron Fox to get things done instead of being like, oh, hey, we know when we play when this unit plays their best basketball, it's all together. Everyone's all flowing. You're making the defense shift one way and another way, whether it's with a pass, whether it's with the way that you're moving without the ball. All those things just felt stagnant in that moment.
One stat that jumped out to me from the 8-minute mark of the second quarter on, the Kings shot 36%. Denver shot 61%. My goodness.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and then the one on the broadcast I wrote down in the third quarter, the Kings had 47 points with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter, and they were outscored 43-10 at one point through the third quarter. So when it went wrong, it went very bad. So it started with bad offense leading to Denver in transition, get whatever they want. Then Denver got so confident. They were super engaged defensively, making life more challenging. Sacramento missed shots, and the Kings could never recover. And that's why it's disappointing tonight. I know some people may be listening to this later or watching this going, guys, De'Aaron Fox wasn't there. This is one of the best teams in the Western Conference, in the NBA. Like, what are you thinking here? It's like, no, we can acknowledge that. It's just how the game flips so fast, not being able to stop a run. You know, it's one of those things, if you were watching this game and let's say this was the same, well, maybe not the same, but let's just say the Kings lose by 21. But, like, it fell apart late. They just didn't have the legs or shots. They were playing the right way, just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Denver was just better. You can acknowledge that. But when you just see a game just completely flip in the matter of 4 minutes and 3 seconds, and this is supposed to be a team with expectations to go further this year, it leaves you scratching your head a little bit.
I don't care who they're playing against. I don't care if it's a fully healthy team. I don't care if it's a shitty matchup for them. It's just, that's exactly it. It's how they were playing in those moments. It's not even like they looked deflated and they didn't want to be there. It didn't look like, it's the Mile High City, so it was getting to them. I didn't notice any of that personally. I just felt like it was more of the game plan. Whatever that was for them, they just weren't sticking to, or it wasn't the right game plan, or whatever happened out there with their schemes and however you want to put it, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And they didn't stick to what was working, especially in that first quarter. And I loved when guys were coming in, like Chris Duarte, for example. He came in with that energy right away and was trying to provide. And then he started getting to these moments where it's like nothing felt right in the offense. So then even he was jacking up the first three, or he was being a little bit more chaotic with his game. And it's like, no, go back to what was working.
Domantas Sabonis, after the game, tells Chris Biederman of the B what went wrong tonight. Quote, I feel like we could have done better with our game plan and stuff against their main guys, coverages, stuff out there we switched up or whatever. I don't know what else is missing there. I do find it funny. It was more about the defense. It looks like with that quote he's talking about. I maintain that the offense is what crushed them in that second quarter without having Fox out there. And it goes to the bigger issue too, is not feeling comfortable with what's behind Fox. You know, Davion Mitchell gets a start tonight, plays 15 and a half minutes. Eventually you see Keon Ellis. You saw Mason Jones make his Kings debut late, but Davion got off to a nice start, playing some solid defense, making some stuff happen, pushing the paint, but then the indecisiveness returned, the pace stopped, the bad shots from everybody started happening. And that's where you go, God, you miss a veteran. Like, you almost need a veteran backup point guard that's been around a little bit. That's why so many people are bringing up someone like DeLon Wright, who can handle a bit, you know, has some good size. It's a definite weakness where if Fox is going down, what's happening? Sacramento now 3-4 without De'Aaron Fox this season in 7 games. One of those losses was when Klay Thompson beat him at the buzzer. Kings played well in San Francisco against the Warriors. The other two were those 2 games early in the season when the Rockets punked the hell out of them. That was ugly. And then tonight, the wins were over Utah, Portland, and Oklahoma City, actually, in Sacramento. So, but
2 teams you should get things done against, and then one team that obviously has had a lot of praise from around the NBA. So, just frustrating. It's tough. It's tough because I just expect more from this team now. And I think when I look at that quote from Sabonis and I look at their offense and what they didn't accomplish tonight, even without De'Aaron Fox, I go, I look at the construction of how this team is constructed, and it definitely isn't going to be the long-term solution, but at the same time, you got to find a way to make sure to be patient with how you go about things, because you don't want to just make adjustments. You know, everyone always wants trade at the trade deadline, and I understand that, but how do you find a way to make tweaks without just breaking everything apart too, especially when you do have something good here?
What a weird season. What a weird season. 117.96 was the final in this one. A couple of random notes from this game that we wanted to get to. Sabonis did not start the fourth quarter because the Kings were down 100-72. He started Mason Jones, Duarte Edwards, Kessler Edwards, Trey Lyles, and Alex Len to begin the fourth quarter. And you're thinking, okay, the starters are done.
Mm-hmm.
They're not coming back in. And I had remarked to Morgan, I'm like, oh, the double-double streak is all over.
He had
Well,
9 rebounds at the time.
The Kings look like maybe they're going to cut it to like 20 or something. I could tell Kyle and Kate are like, oh, what happens if this is a game again? I'm like, oh, there's not much time left. Anyway, at the 6:40 mark, it's 109-83. Sabonis comes back in the game with Keegan Murray, along with Mason Jones still out there, Chris Duarte, and Trey Lyles. I'm going, why is Domantas Sabonis coming back in this game? He ended up getting another rebound, so the double-double streak continues. That's 41 for him now on the season. We're going to talk about his February in a second. I don't understand bringing him back in. The only thing I told Morgan that I was trying to figure out, maybe, just maybe, he was like, let me see what Mason Jones looks like with a couple of the regulars.
Mm-hmm.
When Trey Lyles, Chris Duarte, Keegan, and Sabonis are going to be playing for us, at least at the moment. Let's see what Mason Jones looks like with this group because he can handle a little bit. He's got some good size, and I clearly don't trust some of my other backup guard options. Let's see what it looks like. That's the only thing I could think of because other than that, it doesn't make much sense. And honestly, I still don't think that makes much sense. It's not worth the risk.
Make much
Sabonis
sense.
has been playing a shit ton of minutes.
Uh-huh.
He comes right in and he takes an elbow to the face from Mason Jones.
Jones.
He's like bleeding. Doesn't even realize he's bleeding. A minute later, the official's like, hey, you got to get that cleaned up. So he comes at the 6:40 mark, ends up leaving at the 5:18 mark for good. But I was surprised. I'm like, I don't understand why he was in the game in that. I think I'm probably right on that.
Okay.
I just don't.
It's an interesting theory.
I just don't think it's worth the risk.
Well, and then the other theory I saw online, which I totally disagree with because of the personalities that we're dealing with. People thought it was like stat hunting to make sure you got the double-double and the streak didn't end. And I think I'm right when I say Mike Brown don't give a shit and Domas Sabonis don't give a shit. Like, don't give a shit.
No, Sabonis does not care about that at all.
Right.
I don't think that had anything to do with it at all.
So,
and by the way, who cares? Oh wow, double streak. Like what's that? I mean, it's awesome. It's a great accomplishment, but I don't think anyone's like, we gotta get that. There's like a big bonus that comes with it. Oh, this is an iconic record that will never be forgotten. Like, no, it's a cool thing that we note after games because like, oh, this is crazy. He keeps doing it, but there's not like some meaning. It's not like he secures some epic award or
no,
like,
and it's like, and here's the thing: if it had ended tonight, it's like, wow, what a great accomplishment. It's like, and if it ends in 3 games from now, wow, what a great accomplishment.
Are you buying my theory on it though?
I don't know if I'm buying it. I think it's, I appreciate your theory, but like, it's a very, I mean, it's a stretch, and you said it. No, it's a stretch because I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, sure, that could be. Why not? Why not go in that direction as to that could be the correct theory? You mentioned on the post-game show, and it's interesting.
Yeah. I just from a pure like, hey, I just wouldn't risk. He's been playing a lot of minutes. I'm looking at his February right now, averaging just under 37 minutes a night. Like he ends up playing 32, which, is below that, but like also like could have just sat him for the fourth quarter. That's what I look at. But Sabonis, by the way, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 of 14 shooting. Struggled tonight with the shot for sure. Keegan Murray had some nice moments, 21 points for him. He had 11 in the first quarter, though, 9 of 17. I wish they would have run some more stuff for him to get him some better looks. After that, Chris Duarte, I didn't even realize, had 18 points off the bench tonight, 7 of 14 shooting. That was the first time I looked down and noticed that.
Yeah.
Malik Monk struggled from the field, 6 of 16. Sacramento as a team shot 40% tonight, 12 of 35 from beyond the arc. Denver, they're starting 5. I know plus minus for a single game doesn't really much matter, but how about this?
Oh, God.
Porter was plus 35 in his minutes. Aaron Gordon was plus 40, 17 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds on 7 of 8 shooting. Jokic had a triple-double, 14 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals on 5 of 9. KCP was, oh, by the way, Jokic a plus 37. KCP a plus 38, 16 points, 4 assists, 3 steals, 6 of 10 shooting. And then Jamal Murray missed 2 shots tonight. 32 points, 13 of 15, 5 of 6 from 3.
They were clicking. They were clicking.
So their starters tonight missed like, let's see this. Let's see how quick I can do this math, Morgan, okay? 8, 9, 11, 17 shots. They missed 17 shots, the starting lineup.
5 seconds.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I gotta be honest, I am playoff Deuce right now. I'm clicking. I'm feeling good.
Why?
We need to talk about Sabonis this February coming up. We also have to play the brand new game.
I literally asked you why.
Everyone's moving on.
Oh.
We're going to play Guess the Nickname
Jesus
coming up.
Christ.
We have to look ahead to Kings in their next matchup against Minnesota.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot to get to. We should mention that tonight's podcast presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors, Morgan Reagan.
Oh, man. Oh, my sister is actually getting some new windows tomorrow.
I know why.
Why?
Because she heard Duke the dog on the commercial go, because you should go there. They're simply the best. Trust Northwest.
I swear, you keep aging in this
That's
entire
what
podcast.
Duke sounds like.
I bet that's why she got windows. No, she got windows because she heard our damn commercial and she said, wow, that sounds nice. And I said, yeah, get a free quote, Brittany. And so that's what she did. She got a free quote. She's getting some windows tomorrow and she's super excited. Sounds like it's going to be a one-day install. I know for her, it was really about this old house trying to keep in heat and trying to make some different rooms just more beautiful. And that's what I told her. I was like, it doesn't matter if it's the aesthetic of the home or if you're trying to save money or if you're trying to keep in the heat, keep out the cold.
Well, I got some good news for her and for others.
What?
They're paying the sales tax for you right now.
And that.
Also, plus 0% interest for up to 12 months upon credit approval. The offer expires in April, so get a move on it. Go to their website, trustnorthwest.com, because they are simply the best. Trust Northwest. Yes. Morgan Reagan, who is our rock and soul player of the game?
I don't know. I have no idea who you picked. Should I guess?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, our rock and soul
Hey.
player of the game, 32 points. We just talked about stats. He missed 2 shots tonight, 13 of 15 in 32 minutes. This guy's played like an all-star this year. Did not make the team, but he's playing some awesome basketball. Part of a duo with Jokic, and they are so good in that two-man game. And with those weapons and healthy, you could see how it all connects. Pretty damn special. Our rock and soul player of the game. Go to Rock and Soul Diner, just 6 blocks away from Golden One Center, Morgan Reagan.
You can get 25% off appetizers, 25% off drinks if you watch a Kings game there, just all throughout an entire Kings game. So make sure to go check them out. And they serve breakfast all damn day. We ate all their food on
Trade
during
deadline.
our trade deadline show, and it kept me energized all day long. So go check them out.
Snacking on like pancakes and an eggs Benedict at
Biscuits
2 p.m.
and gravy.
Hits. It hits. Appreciate everyone's support of the Deuce and Mo podcast. You want to support in other ways? Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Deuce and Mo. We do monthly live streams for our members. Just did one last night. The next one's coming up on March 28th. You got to be there. All right, Morgan Reagan, Domantas Sabonis. I know this was an ugly loss, but I think we do need to look at what he did this year. Excuse me, this month. This month, 20 points per game, 13.8 rebounds, 10.2 assists on 61% shooting. Yes, he averaged a triple-double this month in 12 games. He is the first player, the second player in NBA history, but the first in a while, the second player in NBA history to record a triple-double in a month on 60% shooting or better.
Whoa.
The only other player to do this in NBA history,
Who?
Nikola Jokic.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, stud.
Why not?
Kings, by the way, 6-6 in the month of February, so
okay.
500. But Sabonis was awesome, and today on NBA Today, Kendrick Perkins gave Domas Sabonis some love. So much talk about the MVP race and who are candidates, blah blah blah. Well, Perk made the case that hey, we should be talking more about Domas Sabonis
argument.
And here's what he had to say on ESPN.
Look, we can make a compelling argument for all of these guys when it comes down to Jokic, when it comes down to SGA, it could come down to Donovan Mitchell, Luka. Like, all these guys are going to put up historical numbers in today's game.
Yeah.
Hell, if we want to make a case, why are we not saying anything about Sabonis? Sabonis right now, hold on. If we're going based on numbers, Sabonis is leading the NBA in triple-doubles. He's also leading the league in double-doubles. The man is averaging 20, 13, and 8.
Briefly,
that is not just...
better case for Luka Doncic than for Sabonis. I mean, leading the league without Embiid in scoring, and then also giving you almost 9 and 10. That's a triple-double, and that's the reason why Jokic is the favorite.
I thought the triple-doubles meant something. Look.
So Perk all he was doing, by the way, was saying Sabonis, could he be in the why can't his name be thrown in there? Not suggesting that Sabonis should be the league's MVP. And of course, what about Luka? What about this? It's like, no, Luka's awesome, and he's having a great year.
And he's up there.
He's up there as well.
Yeah.
It is funny that people scoff at it. By the way, Sabonis, didn't he finish in like the top 7 in MVP voting last year?
Right.
He'll probably finish around the same if the Kings, have a solid record, make the playoffs.
I mean, if use any word you want to use, underrated, underappreciated, invisible to some in this NBA world, and especially when it comes to a platform like that. Yes. But the fact of the matter is, he's putting up the numbers. Yeah. He deserves all the love. And you got that love from Kendrick Perkins today, who, by the way, in my opinion, does not say a lot of things I agree with. But I loved that he brought this up. And I was like, it's a good point. And
yeah.
when people aren't pointing this out, I go, are you even watching everyone in this game, or are you just watching the main teams on your station?
And that's where I'm at with it. Like, I have no problem with it countering with Luka, but the point wasn't like a Luka versus Sabonis. I wish they would have spent a little more time just discussing Sabonis. And like, well, here's why, and like, oh, here's what jumps out to me. The reality of the situation is there's no point in getting worked up about it. Like, look, he's having a great year. I think he's having another All-NBA year. And as much disrespect as we like to say he has had, just from fans maybe in general, look, he was All-NBA last year and he's an All-Star. It's a huge snub that he was not All-Star this year. Everyone's aware of that. Nationally, people are talking about that. The coaches in the NBA messed up on that, no doubt about it. I think he's going to be All-NBA. He's had a great year, and he's been so consistent. People get worked up on some of this stuff, and I did think the conversation was kind of lame.
And I think a lot of people don't care about him, I guess you could say, because even at the NBC studios, which is Warriors. I mean, it's in San Francisco. A lot of people are Warriors fans, and a lot of people that work there are Warriors people, whatever. And I remember when we were talking about All-Star snubs, and I was talking about Domas Sabonis, and they're like, well, it would be De'Aaron before Domas. And I was like, and by the way, De'Aaron was having a great year, but was having a down January. And I'm like, oh no, like Sabonis is doing this, and this when it comes to double-doubles, triple-doubles, blah, 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 blah. And it's just, I swear it's his name alone that just triggers people in this direction of like, he's not good enough. And so for him, you just got to keep doing what you're doing. And I think at the end of the day, he doesn't give a shit as long as he's winning or getting paid.
That's it. If Sabonis is like, I have to choose between All-NBA and like winning a playoff series, he's choosing winning a playoff series, and it doesn't matter. And the reality is, I think a lot of people who listen and watch our show, I'm not going to say everyone, but there's a lot of people who watch the league, and they watch enough of these players to know, Sabonis is one of the really, really talented players in the league. Anyway, congrats on an awesome month, averaging a triple-double.
Cool.
The guy's been absolute beast.
And I'm glad someone recognized him on ESPN. That's cool that anyone gave him any kind of love. So,
and
gotta take it.
Wish he was better tonight, but it's like I also have a hard
know.
time dumping on him tonight. I'm like, look, the guy's been pretty steady this year.
Hell
He had a
yeah.
bad game tonight.
Hell yeah.
Not a bad game. And
Sucks to
everyone
end
did.
February like this after looking back at his February, but whatever.
This is the other thing about tonight that stings with it is that's why you want the Miami game. I mean, you want every game, but my point is when you get a team that's shorthanded like Miami, you want to beat them at home because you can deal with losing to the Nuggets.
How did we describe that game the other night? We said annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying. Because that is exactly, you're exactly right, Deuce. Because the Nuggets, if you were to look at it on the schedule, you'd be like, okay, loss.
Yep.
Like even they shouldn't think like that, but that's how we're looking at that when we all look at the schedule, right? Miami, you're even thinking tough, but then you're going, ooh, shorthanded. Oh, Jimmy Butler's part of them being shorthanded. It just, it's tough to see some of these very winnable matchups and they don't come out with the W, and it ends up being that loss, and it's really going to hurt them later on in this season.
These are games that we talked about at the time, and I feel like we're repeating them a little bit, but
We are.
losing to the Pistons.
Ugh.
Shorthanded, by the way,
Ugh.
Pistons, right? They were all bad shorthanded. At home, awful loss.
Mm-hmm.
At Portland, shorthanded, awful loss. Hornets, shorthanded, awful loss. Those are 3 games you go, you got to win those games. And then when you throw away other games like the Phoenix game that they were up 22 with 8 to play, or the Bucks game where you miss free throws late, those are 2 games you should have won.
Yeah.
I don't love playing that. You should have won this game, but it's like if you just take care of business like you should have, that's 5 extra wins. That you're in a different category now, and I'm sure I'm probably missing one that's out there. And bring up the Phoenix game one more time, not to backtrack. That was the night you got the concussion. You missed night chat, and I do it by myself.
Barely remember.
That was another example of the Phoenix Suns, a good team going on a run, and the Kings can't. The floodgates are open. We can't do anything about it. It's just like tonight, where it's like a run comes and you can't recover.
And the Kings had last year to have this excuse and be like, okay, new team together, all these different things, like they're trying to figure it out. That experience should lead to these moments being able to figure it out more. I don't expect them to be perfect in all these runs, especially against some really good teams and future Hall of Famer players. I get all of that. But like as a team, I just expect more when some of these really good teams in this league go on a run.
Anything else we missed from the game? We still have to get to our Sharif Jewelers moment of the game.
No, I think we went down the list. Oh, God, we got to everything.
I think there's always something we miss, and I remember after, and I get mad at myself, and then I sit there and go, Morgan, we shit the bed here.
How did we forget this?
I don't know. It was like, hey, good first quarter, and everything after that was really disappointing and bad. And you just expect the team to be more competitive, even without De'Aaron Fox. You know.
Yeah, Deuce. I mean, you had to everything, literally everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the fast break point, the 15. They had 15 of their 20 fast break points in the first half in that second quarter. So, I mean, it was like everything was going down in that second quarter.
What would be your moment of the game for tonight?
The Keegan Murray late nasty jam.
It was a pretty nasty.
It was
Keegan.
cool.
I mean, it's one of those dunks that, like, had the Kings been winning, we would have been like, can you believe it?
Oh my God.
Dude, it was great.
It was great. It's funny because usually after a loss like this, you're like anti me saying any good moments. I would say that, and I would say 41st consecutive double-double for Sabonis. And the reason why I want to put that is because I want to remember this one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I want to remember like how he got it.
Okay.
It was just weird.
After coming back in.
Yes, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, just we're gonna also note 28 to 4 run in second quarter.
Donald says Monk's alley-oop dunk.
That was pretty nice too. The one where Sabonis, that was a hell of a play. Sabonis top of the key, threw up high over Jokic, and Monk just soared in there to get it. That was pretty sweet. Yeah.
Scuba says, I'm going to yell loud noises into my pillow in frustration.
I hope you're having a good time tonight. Jason in the chat says, I work at Ball Arena, but you all need to relax. You have talented and dangerous team. West is just tough. 17-15 on the road is good, but you should be better than 16-10 with a great home court. That's your issue. Yeah. Well, Jason, I hope we're not coming across tense tonight. Should have listened to us the other night. Yeah, the home thing, and it goes back to what we talked about. I'm glad Jason brought that up. the Kings, we talked about last year, their home record needed to be better than it was.
Yeah.
And this year, it's been, after a nice start, it's been really disappointing.
Agreed.
This team this year has just been up and down. And literally, the West, that's where the West is at right now. You bring up the standings, let's do it. The Kings, it wasn't too long ago, Morgan Reagan. It wasn't too long ago that the Kings were jumping to the 5th spots.
And
Well,
now,
if we can turn back time. The Kings are in 8th tonight. The Lakers are right behind them in 9th after coming back from like 20-plus down to the Clippers. So they're 2 games behind Sacramento. Kings are in 8th. They're a half game out of 7th, but they are just 1 game out of 5th. That's the good news. They're 1 game out of 5th, but they are 2 out of 9th as well. It is insane to see what we are looking at from 5 to 10. From 5 to 10. There's some separation between 10 and 11 now, which if you're a Kings fan, okay, maybe you don't fall out all the way at this point because, you know, Utah's the 11th spot. They're 4 out of the play-in. But the way things are tracking, you're like, God, a play-in? Oh, my God, are you going to be in a situation playing the Warriors in a play-in? Maybe.
Steph Curry.
Maybe. And
comes down.
Guess what? It would suck. I would be stressed out. I just realized we're not on camera. Yeah, that would really suck. But there's still a healthy portion of the season left. I mean, you look at tonight. The Pelicans had been playing some solid basketball. The Pelicans lost to the Pacers tonight.
Yeah.
Dallas just lost to the Pacers. They bounced back, though, and won their game tonight. So these teams have just been so up and down, you know? I mean, you're looking at so look at 5 through 10. The Pelicans over their last 10 games, 6-4. The Suns, 6-4 in their last 10.
Yeah.
Dallas, 8-2. Sacramento's fallen. They're 4-6 in their last 10.
This is where it's going to be fun in the sense of.
I just had a couple more last 10s to go over.
Oh, please. God, so many.
I just was going to go 5 through 10.
Go.
The Lakers 7-3 over the last 10. Warriors 8-2. So the Kings have fallen because they're the one team in that grouping, 4-6 in their last 10. So yeah, it's going to be crazy in this last portion of the season.
It is, and I think what makes it fun. The only thing that makes it fun is that it's not only every single game for the Kings matters. It's we're going to find ourselves. This is what we have to do, like in the last 20 games, always update people on, not necessarily the standings, on maybe sometimes, all right, who are we rooting for tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Who are we rooting for Friday? Like, it becomes that time where you go, do you want you wanted the Clippers to really beat the Lakers because you just want the Lakers to keep going down.
And the Lakers play tomorrow. They play the Wizards. Great. You know, and so you obviously go Wizards tomorrow. Like, go Bagley, go Rashawn Holmes, right?
Hell yeah. Come on, Bags.
And then the Knicks play the Warriors tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. So go Knicks. Go Knicks. And that may not matter, but you just want some more separation. Houston and Phoenix play. Go Rockets.
Go Rockets. I've always been a Dylan Brooks fan.
DB and FBV. Jabari Smith. Love that guy. Former King. Ime Udoka coaching that group.
Ime Udoka has always been my favorite.
Next up for the Sacramento Kings, they take on the number 1 team in the West.
Go Kings.
The Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is going to go. He did go through warm-ups today to try out how he's feeling with that knee contusion. I'd like to think he can play coming up on Friday. Who knows? With him, without him, it's going to be tough. The Kings did beat Minnesota on the road this year, where Minnesota's 22-6. Check this out. Minnesota got win number 42 tonight against Memphis. They were 42-17 this season. They were 42-40 last year. It's going to be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough game.
I think I do think they're beatable. It's just also a tough matchup because of how locked in they are defensively. Anthony Edwards, what a beast.
Well, he's a beast. But if De'Aaron Fox is not playing, that just takes away one more major piece from the Sacramento Kings. But also, I don't want Fox playing. I said this to you the other night when I thought it was a thigh contusion, not a knee contusion. Either way, contusions just suck. They're just painful. They're just deep into your body, and it takes time for it to actually heal. So then you don't feel like you're in pain when you're doing things. I don't think you can even. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know this, but I don't think you can necessarily make it worse. But it's just like how much pain you can actually deal with. And with someone like De'Aaron, he relies on being explosive, being fast, being able to push off of his legs, his knees, whatever. And it's like, if you can't play 100%, then yeah, take your time. Take your time, kid.
42-17 Minnesota T-Wolves. They have a half-game lead on OKC, 2 games up on the Denver Nuggets. Sacramento now 33-25 after tonight. They are 18-20 against teams above 500, 15-5 against teams below 500. We were going over some of the teams around Sacramento on the pregame show today. The one number that jumped out to me about Dallas, 15-20 against teams above 500. The Lakers 16-20 against teams above 500. How about this one? Golden State 12-24 against teams above 500. So something to watch down the stretch in some of these games.
Yeah. A lot of fun things will have to be pointed out throughout. It's fun. Look, no matter how you look at it, it's fun. Yeah. It's basketball. It's fun. Sure, you want your team to be the best team in the world, but you know what?
I just love this chat tonight.
What?
It's been a good group tonight. We've had a group. People are venting. People are having fun.
Appreciate
making
you
the
guys.
most of the situation. Brad says if Fox can't go, they need Davion to step up. It wasn't good enough tonight.
Agreed.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Let's get to our game tonight.
Oh.
You can participate in the chat. Morgan's going to be guessing. It's called Guess the Nickname.
Oh.
I have 3 NBA players, and this is a game I heard about on the Athletic NBA show. We've been a guest before, and I loved it, but I'm putting my little spin on it, trying to give some more background on it. So, Basketball Reference, some of these players have nicknames attached to them. Some of them are pretty weird. We're going to play Guess the Nickname. One of the nicknames is not the player's nickname.
Okay.
Are you ready to go?
So you're going to give me 3 nicknames for one person, and one of those nicknames is wrong.
Yes.
Copy.
You can play along in the chat as well. In fact,
Okay.
I'm going to bring the chat over here just in case you want to see it more.
Yeah.
The first player, we're going to start with a former King.
Okay.
He played 1 season in Sacramento when the Kings made the playoffs in 2006. He was a monster against the San Antonio Spurs. Bonzi Wells.
Oh, okay.
Now, before I give you the nicknames, just to be clear, Bonzi's technically a nickname. His real name is Gaywin D'Angelo Wells.
Okay.
You're going, how do you get Bonzi? We'll get to that in a bit.
Great, because I want to guess.
Here are the 3 nicknames.
Okay.
The Bonds. Like the Fonz?
No, I got it.
The Bonds. Bon Bon and Big B Dub. For Bonzi Wells, his nicknames, The Bonds, Bon Bon, or Big B Dub.
I'm going to guess the Bonds is wrong, because the way that you smirked when you said it was like something stupid that you'd make up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the fake one is actually Big B Dub.
Damn it! I cannot believe this.
The Bonds was one of his nicknames, which is kind of funny.
It's
I never
great.
The
but it's just
Bonds.
the way you said it, I was like, there's no way.
Bon Bon. You're going, okay, give me, why Bonzi? Well, according to a story I read, Bonzi originated from the cravings of his mother, Christine, who had for ice cream. She had ice cream bonbons during her pregnancy with him. His parents called him Bon Bon until the age of 2. It eventually evolved into what it is today, Bonzi.
That's adorable.
Bon Bon. Turn to the Bonzi.
Ice cream, yes. Love that name. All of the above.
Yeah.
Love bonbons.
I wonder, what would that? I would name my kid then if that went by meals. I don't know. Burrito.
Really?
Or pizza. Or nachos. Nachos Bel Grande. Cheesy Gordita Crunch. What's your kid's name? Gordita.
You named a lot
I
of
know, I got
Mexican
excited.
cuisine here.
Okay.
Like, you really got to venture out, Deuce. Try other things.
The next two, we got one from tonight's game.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray.
Okay.
No cheating, everybody. Here are the nicknames. Let's see if Jamal Murray, born in Canada.
Okay.
The nicknames: Glitch, Blue Arrow, or Sweet Maple.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go with Glitch because Sweet Maple to me means Canada. And doesn't he do the arrow after?
He does.
He's the arrow one. Yeah. Okay. Good.
So the fake one is Glitch.
Yeah.
The fake one is actually Sweet Maple.
What? Canadian. Like.
I put that in your head, planted
You
that
do-
seed.
oh my God. You
called
Darren
a little-
Brown my ass.
High school teammates called him Glitch because he plays like in a video game and it like glitches and you like
Okay. Yeah.
take out the disc. He told a story on a podcast. He took out the disc, blow it off, put it back in.
Yeah.
He glitched. He's that good. That's actually a badass nickname. Blue Arrow is kind of weak. It's like, could we do better? Glitch? That's got to be a glitch.
Yeah.
He just crossed you up and got to the basket. It's glitching.
That's cool.
So there you go.
Not Sweet Maple.
All right. You ready for this last
Yeah,
one? It's
yeah.
One of the Kings' next opponents, Rudy Gobert. Now, I'm going to give you guys one that we all know. The Stifle Tower is a nickname of his. That's most people know Stifle Tower, okay?
Okay.
But I was shocked that you didn't know that one? You're so bad at this. Yeah, it's one of the, like it's a famous Rudy Gobert nickname, Stifle
like
Tower.
next thing you're going to tell me
Like the
Jokic
Eiffel
is called the Joker or something.
Right. Funny.
Good bit.
So you get the reference? He's
Yes,
French.
I get
Okay.
the-
But I looked up. I could not believe how many nicknames he has on Basketball Reference. So this, I'm giving you 4.
Okay.
One of them
Okay.
is fake.
Okay.
Here we go. The French Rejection.
Okay.
The Super Spreader. The Gobert Report. And Gobzilla.
Ooh.
Here we go. The French Rejection, the Super Spreader, the Gobert Report, and Gobzilla.
The Super Spreader has sounds like such a dick nickname you would make up for him, but it's like it happened, even though it didn't, God, that's so good. I'm gonna go with the Gobert Report is the fake one.
The fake one is the Super Spreader. Come up by me, obviously in reference to him shutting down the world. Some people call him Patient Zero, as the chat was saying. But
Oh,
when he
really?
like rubbed the microphone
Yes.
all over. Yeah.
It was not his fault.
I do love French Rejection was funny. The Gobert Report was kind of funny, but it's not really a nickname. The Gobert Report.
So-
Like Colbert Report. I mean, but that was listed as a nickname.
got it. Okay.
And then Gobzilla. Like gobbles up the ball, block shots, Gobzilla. Ah!
I just feel like there's so many weird nicknames. Like for sure someone's called him the Super Spreader.
It's kind of, yeah. The Stifle Tower is a pretty good nickname, though.
Hector says the Super Spreader, kind of fire. Oh my God.
Also, chat, before we close, just because I like to feel good about myself,
Yeah.
thumbs up on this game. I kind of like this game, the nickname game.
Oh, I
Guess
thought
the
you were talking
nickname?
about the Kings Nuggets. I was
No,
like,
no.
Oh, I love the nickname game. I mean, again, we did not make it up, and that's why we got to
No.
keep giving love.
The Athletic NBA Show Fridays edition. Amazing. We've been on that show many times, and they always quiz us on these Basketball Reference nicknames. My twist on it is I give a little more information, and I,
Yes.
try to come up with some funny
Also,
ones.
if you're ever looking for another NBA podcast, I encourage you to check them out
Yes,
because they
of
are
course.
like I love listening to them. So
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And no, win or lose, we're going to make the best of a podcast. We're going to tell you what the hell happened, what went wrong, what went right, and laugh, cry along the way.
and Friday's our next one. Friday we'll be on pre and post together on NBC, and then we will have night chat.
Tios.
Yeah. So make sure to just tune in all day. Ugh, what a vibe.
We love you guys, but we gots to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks for being here. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you